Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today for Humanities at Play. My name is Kathleen Kuo, and I am a program manager with Nevada Humanities, which is our state's council partner for the National Endowment for the Humanities. With Humanities at Play, our goal is to pair gameplay and other interactive activities with thoughtful discussions about the humanities and how they shape and enrich our everyday lives. A couple quick notes before we get started today. If you are a first-time Twitch user, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you would like to chat with us or type questions or comments into the chat, you can create a free account, and that way you can participate in the chat. And if you aren't already following us here on Twitch, I always encourage people to click that follow button just so you can get our notifications whenever we are live. So today it is my pleasure to have on our program John Balash from the Center for Transformational Play and Entertainment Technology Center at Carnegie Mellon University. John, how are you doing today?
I am doing super well, thank you. It is a joy to be here.
I think it is a joy just to see your background, which is a little bit of foreshadowing of what we are about to do today. So, for those of you who are just meeting John for the first time, John Balash serves as a head of partnerships at the Center for Transformational Play, and he is a director of educational engagement at the Entertainment Technology Center at Carnegie Mellon University, which is also his alma mater. John works across hardware, software, and analog mediums to create joyful, effective, and valuable playful experiences. He has nearly a decade's experience in the classroom, and he has presented on the national and international stage. So today on our stream, really excited, John is going to direct me on building a mystery Lego set. I have no idea what it is. He designed it just for our stream today. And what I'm also really excited about is that if audience members want, you can build along using Studio, which is Lego's virtual brick building software. But no worries, you don't have to rush to download it now, because if you want, after our stream, we're going to make the instruction manual available on our website on Nevada Humanities, and then you can also find the final model on Bricklink. I don't know if you want to say a little bit more about that, John.
Yeah, absolutely. Stud.io is, the open source software. It's essentially CAD for Lego building. So a lot of the adult fans of Lego will build in Studio and then share their models on Bricklink. So I've kept this hidden from you for a couple months now, but after the stream, we'll make the models and the instructions available.
Again, I can't stress, like, I really, I have no idea what this is. So everyone on stream is going to find out with me for the first time today as I build along. And so once I finish building the model or part of it, as John will explain in a little bit, we'll take a little bit of a break just to give us all time to get water, stand up and stretch, jot down any questions you might have for John, and then we'll sort of reconvene for a more focused conversation and Q&A with him. But I always encourage people, the beauty of Twitch is getting to interact with our chat. So please don't be shy about sharing any questions, observations, comments. Let us know in the chat what your Lego experiences are. Let us know if you grew up with Lego, if you've recently become, I know like a lot of friends of mine, like in their like adult years, once they have like a job, like and have money for Lego, now they've become adult Lego enthusiasts. So let us know your Lego experiences in the chat. So I'm going to switch over.
There's a special term for that, and that
Is
is coming
there?
out of the dark ages. So
Really?
when you return to Lego, you're back. Yep.
I love that. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and then we're going to switch over. So, all right. So hopefully everyone can see my desk. These are my hands, my very real human hands, and a bunch of Lego pieces. And just so you know, there are more pieces outside of what you see here. But yeah, John, how let's get started.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that this is going to work is I am going to describe to you the parts and also describe where the parts are being placed. And so this is sort of a hacked version of what we call a brick club, which is a partnership with a group called Play Included out of Cambridge. We'll get that into that later. First, we're going to go ahead and start building. And
Okay.
I already see the piece that we need,
Okay.
and it is a large plate, a white plate that is Yep, that's the one. So that is going to start as our base plate. And then we are going to look for a tiny 1x1 plate, also in white.
Oh man. Okay. One by one. Is this a one by one?
That
Is-
is a 1x1 brick. So we are
Oh, a
looking for a one by
plate.
one plate.
I'm learning.
So
I'm
sort of
learning here.
the same thickness.
Oh, I got it, I think.
Yep,
Yeah?
that's it. Yep. And
Okay.
so we are going to put that in the top corner.
Does it matter what
So
corner?
it doesn't matter, and I will wherever you place it, I will orient you. So it's going to be in a top corner. Wonderful.
Okay. And yeah, people don't be shy about sharing your Lego experiences. If you've ever stepped on a piece of Lego, if you built something recently, let us know.
Yep. So we're going to find another one of those pieces and put it in the opposite corner. And
Like,
so I'm sorry, along the same axes.
okay,
Yep, that's the one. Yep.
okay. And what I love is
Fantastic.
that this is like, well, we'll get into more about this later, but just this is sort of building like our communication skills, and I'm doing my best to pay attention. I'm trying to use my like sorting skills. This is great. I'm learning already.
Yep. So now we are going to look for some more plates, but one of them will be a 1x4 like sky blue plate.
Ooh, okay.
So it looks like that sort of like Tetris block.
I got
But
it.
it will be, yep, that's it. That is going to go right next to one of the 1x1s in the same, so like almost like it was gonna, like you're creating a path to it, if that makes sense. Yep, perfect. We're gonna look for another one, and we are going to put it next to the other 1x1. So there'll be a gap of 2 in the middle. Yep.
Okay.
See, this is going swimmingly so
Don't
far.
jinx us.
Yeah, right. Now we're gonna look for a same color 1x2 plate that will fill that gap.
Okay. I would. In chat, Silver says, I once set up a Lego trap for my brother when he tried sneaking into my room as kids. Burnout Lawyer says, yeah, wow, don't mess with you, Silver Pelt.
Yeah,
um,
that sounds awesome.
yeah. I would love guesses. Like once you get a little further along, if anyone thinks they know what this might be, like share your thoughts because I don't know at the moment.
um, okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do, this is a lot of plate work. So we are looking for you're gonna want to source or get 2 1x6 white plates.
Okay, I think I
And
got
they are going to
him.
go right on top of where we've already been building.
Okay, you are an
Yep.
excellent direction giver. I'm just gonna note that.
Well, so I got to build the model first. so, so what's interesting here is, like, I am not a master builder by any stretch of the imagination, but what you want to do is build for structural support. So we're
Okay.
trying to offset the connections, so it reinforces the um, where the parts connect. Just
Okay.
FYI. Um, Next, we are going to find a 1x1 brick in white. So that is the one from earlier.
Okay. Like,
Yep.
okay.
And you are going to put that on top of the corners, just where we started with the plates. And you're going to do that on each side.
And the bottom side too, or just the top side?
Yep, just like that. You got it.
Okay.
Now we are going to go to the more bricks. You are going to look for a 1x1 in sky blue.
John, do you know every Lego piece ever in existence? Like,
I wish. And the cool thing is they're always coming up with more.
yeah.
And actually the frequency of it has sort of accelerated.
Yeah.
So I honestly I can't keep up. But what's really cool is Lego's really thoughtful and the parts work. This is all an integrated system. And so when they come up and introduce a new piece, there is a lot of joy around the world because they're like, that's the one that I needed.
Yep.
So, okay, so we're going to take our um, one by one and we are going to put it. Do you see where? Oh, okay. So see how that one's different?
Oh, yeah. It has a little like a pokey on the end. Okay.
Yes, it does have a little. We're gonna keep that one. Don't
Oh,
worry.
okay. Oh, okay.
But we're gonna rattle off some other bricks first. So you're gonna look for a 1x4 brick in that light blue,
Mm-hmm.
and that is going to go right against the left um, brick. Yep. And then you're going to put the 1x1 without the little
Mm-hmm.
whatever you called it. What did you call it?
I said pokey, which makes no sense because I think it
Yeah,
goes inside.
yeah, but it's the pokey now.
Yeah.
So not the pokey one, but just the regular one.
Okay.
Uh, and so that will go next.
Like next to it? Or,
Yep,
okay.
yep. And then we're gonna look for a 1x2.
Okay.
Then we're gonna add the pokey with the pokey facing the like the base plate extending, right?
Okay.
So it's going to be, if I'm looking at your camera orientation, it will be first the 2x1. Yep. And then the pokey will be facing you. Yep. And then one more 2x1.
I recently started watching Lego Masters on TV, and it's such a joy. I love that show. I don't know if anyone else has seen it, but it's great
Oh,
fun.
yeah. Oh, well, a storied history with
Yeah.
Lego Masters. We'll get into that
Okay.
later.
Okay.
Um, so you're gonna duplicate the next step. So a 1x1 white on top of each of the edges. So
Okay.
now we're sort of going on like 2 layers up.
Okay. One by one.
Yep.
Got it.
And now we are looking for like a darker blue plates. So there should be two 1x3s.
Three. Yeah, I see a 1 by 3 here. Oh, and here's the second one. Got it.
Fantastic. Oh nope, the
Oh,
plates, not
oh,
bricks.
plates. I
Sorry,
keep.
sorry,
It's
sorry.
okay. That might have been me. Okay, here are the plates.
And those are gonna go sort of like on the ends, right? So there's gonna be that there's gonna be 4 studs right in the middle that are open.
Okay.
So that's looking right.
That snap is so satisfying.
Yeah, I know the tactile feel is so good. And then we're gonna look for a 1x4, the same color that will nestle right there in the middle.
Like this? Or is it a plate? A plate.
Plate,
Plate.
plate.
Okay.
Yep.
Jenjen, welcome in. Jenjen says, this is great. It's like a Lego instruction book that I can listen to. Yeah, and I don't know if you heard, but after the stream, you can find we're going to put the instruction manual on our website, and you can build along online using Lego's virtual software if you so choose. Or you can just download the software and make bricks. So
Yeah, make whatever you want. That's right. So now we're gonna go back to the sort of the sky blue plates,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna look for two 1x4s.
Got it. And welcome in, AJ. They say, yeah, the tactile snap of Lego is the best. Yeah.
Yeah, and they really do pride themselves on the quality. That is one of the things that makes Lego Lego for sure. Um, so those plates are gonna go right on the ends.
Of the dark blue, like.
Yep, and so there will be two studs open in the middle,
Okay.
and you're gonna fill that with a 1x2.
Okay.
Oh, and now we're gonna get into some trickier bits.
Okay.
So, okay, on top of those which you just placed, we're gonna find a 1x1 brick in that same like sort of like true blue,
Mm-hmm. Okay, got a one
and
by
you're gonna place
one.
that on the left. Yep, that's the one.
All the way on the left or just on the
Um,
blue?
on the you got it right there.
Okay.
Oh nope, I'm sorry, not on the yeah. Okay, there's a little
A
lag.
light.
So inside of the white frame.
Inside of the white frame. Okay.
Yep,
There we go.
perfect. Next up, we're gonna find a 2x1 brick with a hole punched through it.
The opposite of a pokey.
The
It's
opposite of a
like an Audi and
pokey.
an innie. Okay, this one is,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a
Yep,
little
that's it.
camera. Okay.
And so that will go right next to the 1x1.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Mysterious
I
hole.
know. So mystery mounts. And then we're gonna go with a same color 1x3,
Okay.
and then that will be rounded out with a 1x4 same color.
Got it.
And then you're gonna see that we're gonna be building up the edges again. So a 1x1 brick on each end
In what color?
in white.
Okay. So on like the opposite corners again. Like,
Yep, that's
okay.
right. And we are cruising, by the way. Fantastic.
Do Lego speed runs exist? Like, are there competitions where you like,
Oh,
do they?
yes,
Okay.
yes. And one of the most notorious ones is the Millennium Falcon, because it's such a huge
Yeah.
set. So hours and hours.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, if something could be, um, if something can be timed, then that's what they're going to do. Um, okay, so we have 1, 2, 3 up. So the next thing that we're going to do is grab some, they should be like dark blue. These are plates.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be two 1x4s,
Got it.
and those are going to go sort of right in the middle.
Okay.
Yep.
Whoops. Drop that
And
one.
that will leave a 2 stud gap in the middle.
Wait, two stud gap. Oh, oops, wrong side. Oh no.
You
John.
know what I should have sent you. So here's what you can do. Take another brick and
Uh-huh.
just snap it onto that one and
Uh-huh.
use the pressure. I should have sent you a brick separator.
Those exist? Oh no.
Kathleen, I am so sorry because
It's
literally
okay.
I have a treasure trove right here.
What are some other tricks? This is funny. What are some other tricks for getting them off?
Use
Okay, I'm
another
okay.
yeah, yeah, yep.
Okay,
And
and then just
pressure it.
do you like push it in or out? Oh, I got it.
You
I
push
got
it
it.
down. Yeah, fantastic.
Oh, now I have to get these unstuck. Yeah, I had no idea brick separators existed. Okay, so
They are a fascinating multi-tool that yes, come in very, very handy.
okay, so I know I got so excited. I was like, oh, this fits,
Yeah.
but no. Okay, so we'll
So that's going to go in the aha. Okay, so I see some discrepancy. So we're going to
oh,
take yep.
okay.
So everything is going to be back on that wall.
This one, okay.
So the wall that we're building, so even those two, the 1x1s are going to go up. So we're like building a tower, right?
Okay. Wait, so should I put
So
this here still?
nope, that's going to go on top of the blue.
Okay, like this.
No, no, no.
Oh,
The sky blue
oh no.
or the regular blue. Yep,
Okay,
there we go.
here. Okay, so I have to take this one off again.
Yep.
Okay.
And the little and the 1x1s are going to go
Got
on
it.
top of, right?
All right. All right, so I'll do. Well, those are easy to take off. So
Yeah.
I'll remove this. Trying to make sure everyone can see me doing this. I mean, this proves that I did not see this beforehand.
Yep.
There is no cheating here. Come on. Genjin
It
says brick
also
separators are lifesavers. Yeah, I wish I had one right now.
yes, they are. Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I will jingle them right here so you can hear them.
Oh, okay, it fell into my shirt. I was like, one just fell off into nowhere, but no, I got it. So right here.
Yep.
Okay,
And then we need a 1x2 right in the middle, same color.
got it.
So we are marching through the backdrop. So everything that we build will be on that sort of plane right now.
Okay, this
Um,
one.
uh, and so here we go. So next up, you're gonna do 1x1 plates in white on both ends.
Okay, let me find a
So just
plate.
continue yep.
Welcome in, musicologists. They say, hooray for Legos. Indeed. Okay. Okay, before I snap. Oh, wait, this doesn't have. This one's like an end cap. Let me find when it has the thing poking up.
The pokey.
Yeah, another pokey. So on the opposite corner, like here.
Nope. So
Oh,
it'll just be right up on the like continuing the tower.
okay, here.
Yep.
I'm so nervous now. I don't want want to take more bricks apart. Okay. Oh,
Yeah, right.
we'll do.
And
Come
then
on.
one on the opposing uh
Here.
yep, right there.
Got it.
And then we are going to look for some of the sort of like the like mid blue, the one
Mm-hmm.
with the anti-pokey. So same color. It will be um it will be two 1x3 plates,
Got it.
and that will be right on the ends. Yep, with four studs in the middle, and that will be filled with a 1x4 in the same color blue.
There's that one. There we go. There's that snap. Okay, and then you said same color blue.
Yep.
Got it. These are very pretty colors.
Thank you. Yeah, you'll see. It's an interesting it's an interesting little build here. So next up we have that. Okay. Here we are. We are gonna put two 1x1 bricks right on the end
In white.
in white. Yep.
Okay, 1x1 bricks. Got it. On the towers.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I have no
And
idea what
then
this is. I'm curious.
yeah, yeah. It'll start to take shape soonish, but we got to get
Okay.
through the like the back wall.
Okay.
Um, so now we are going to identify and find um a 1x1 in blue.
Mm-hmm.
It should be the same color. Yep. And that is going to go on the right next to the 1x1. Yep. Now we're gonna look for an anti-pokey in blue, the same color.
Okay.
And that will go next to the brick that you just placed.
I like this back and forth that we have going on here.
Yeah. Then a 1x3, same color brick,
Okay.
and then a 1x4, and that should round out that layer. Okay, and then we are going to look for 1x1 plates again, white, and they'll go on the little end caps.
Okay. So here's
Yep.
1x1 plate. 1x1 plate. Come on.
Okay, and so now we are going to look for two 1x4 plates in black,
Mm-hmm.
and they are going to go right on the. Oh no. Okay, so they are going to go starting to the right. You can put one down, then you can put the next one down, and then you can put a 1x2 plate
Okay, like
in
this.
the remaining studs. Yes. And so again, my thought process here was durability because you don't want, yeah. So make it easy, John. Make it easy. um, okay, you got that. Okay. So then we are going to start on the right with a 1x2 blue brick,
Mm-hmm.
followed by two 1x4 blue bricks. Oh,
Okay.
but make sure it's in one.
Oh, got it.
Yep,
And then
there you go.
just in case people are curious, I don't know if I can say like this is vaguely sci-fi and or fantasy inspired, if that helps people guess what the final outcome will be.
That's right. It will make a lot more sense when the minifigures come out.
Ooh,
Um,
okay.
but we got to get through this.
I love
And
minifigures.
so also for the audience, this is sort of a three-part model build. So if we get through it, then hooray. If we don't, again, we can do a reveal. But we'll get as far as we can, and still have time for the conversation. Okay, so now we're gonna put 1x1 white bricks, right to sort of like fill out the edge, and we are getting really, really close to putting a cap on it.
Okay.
Uh, so
I love
we'll
how
just
like
keep
the
on
low
going.
diabolical laugh. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And so we're gonna repeat that again. So two more right on top,
Okay.
and then we are going to look for two 1x3 bricks in black.
Okay. Here's one, and here's a second one in black.
So those will be on the edges, leaving um, space for one 1x4 in black to fit in the middle. Yep. And huzzah! We are now looking for a 1x6 in white, and we can start on the right,
Okay.
and we will plop that. So, yep. And then we will find another 1x6.
Ooh, that was a good snap. Okay.
Yeah. And so now we have our frame that is complete. Congratulations. We are going to start building towards you.
Okay.
Okay. So now we are going to look for two 2x2 white bricks.
2x2. So got them.
And they will go directly, so along the edge, sort of like where we put the white ones, but they're going to be closest to the brick, the wall. Yep. So yep, right there. It looks like. Make sure it's on the edge.
Yeah, on the edge. Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the other one will be mirrored on the other side. Perfect. Now, we are going to. Do you want the technical term or do you want the me describing it term?
How about both? What's the? How about you
Okay.
describing and then what's the technical?
All right. Look for the ruffled donut that has a cross in the middle.
Okay. I like this
Yep.
ruffled donut.
Yep.
Oh,
There it
wait.
is.
I was trying that off my
Um,
desk.
and so we are going to use, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 on each side, and
Okay.
they are going to build up like pillars.
Okay. Up here.
Yep, right on top of the bricks that we just
Ooh.
placed. So
I
5
have
on each side.
never. This is fun. I've never. I guess I just. Yeah. Oh,
Yes,
that's so
yes.
satisfying. Okay, I'll do this so everyone can see. So one. It just like. Oh, it's so nice. Two. Wait, so what's the technical term? Yes, Lars says I need more
So
ruffled donuts in
it's
my life.
it is just it's a modified brick with Technic studs in it.
No, I like ruffled donut. That's good.
Yep.
Tulip says this is a laptop with a blue screen of death. Yes. I like
Oh,
that.
so things will start to take shape here with these ruffled donuts, and then a few more pieces as we'll see. Um, but yeah, crushing it, Kathleen.
Okay. I'm just gonna I want everyone to see. Just goes in so nicely. What makes something a Technic stud?
So there's so you see the little cross in the middle.
Yeah.
So you can put a Technic part right in there. So we could
Oh,
double
okay.
down on the durability. But Technic is technically another Lego system. Of course, they all integrate super well together. But usually Technic is for more like motorized
Got it.
or mechanical parts.
Okay. I got my
Yeah.
I'll
All
hold
right.
it.
So now we are looking for um these little they have like little round parts on the edge. So they're a one by one with these little like cat paws. Uh
Oh. Oh, I think is it like this?
yeah, that's it. So we're gonna
Okay.
look for
Show everyone the little
8 of
cat
those.
paws. Oh, it's
And
kind of
they are going to go, they are gonna sort of like if I'm the pillar, they're gonna unfurl like this. All right.
along the edge or
Yep. Yeah. So they will go, yeah, they'll sort of overlap. Yep. So two going. So like this, I don't know if you can see me. Okay. It's like this, right?
Okay. It's like going out.
And yep. So there will be four per pillar
Okay.
and they extend outward and inward.
Got it. Um, I want to see if I can show little cat paws. Maybe if I'm not sure if you can see on my
Yeah.
camera. Sitting like an Egyptian. I like that, Czar. And yes, Silver says ruffled donut is the official term now. We shall take no questions. We'll let Lego know. I'll take the royalties. Well, you can have the royalties because
Yeah.
you're the one who said it. Okay, so there's. Ooh, I like that pillar. That's very satisfying. Yeah, let me find the other cat paws. Okay. There's one. There's two. I would love to be a Lego designer. Like just being able to like imagine like, yeah, I want to like create this thing. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking for the last one. Found it.
Fantastic. And so this, so like spoiler, no spoiler, is this will be somewhat of like a little vignette.
Okay, yeah.
And so now we're starting to take we see that we have these pillars now.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, from the cat's paw, we are going to find two, 1 by 2 white plates.
Okay. 1 by 2 plates. Okay, I think I got them. Plates.
And we're going to set those aside for a second.
Okay, got it.
And then we're going to look for a really long plate. It is 2 by, let's see, is that 12
Ooh,
in white? Yep,
okay, I think
that's the
that's
one.
12.
And that is going to go smack dab in the middle. So it will not extend to our last two
Oops.
studs there, but it'll go right in the middle. Yep.
All right. I'm just about breaking it. Okay.
And now we can take those little 1 by 2s, and where there are spaces on the edge, we can put those.
Okay. I think I'm just
Does
trying
that
to
make sense?
connect. Yeah, so this one, oh, there we go. There's that snap. It wasn't going. Yeah, and so I'll put these
Yep,
on the
that's
end.
correct. Just be careful when you snap them. Yeah. And we will reinforce the structure. Don't worry. Um, And we're going to do that right now. So now we are going to look for a modified brick, and I will explain it. It is a 1x2 in white, but it has like a little gap in it,
Okay. This is a
or
one
like a
by
little part
three.
missing.
Okay, I think I found it.
Yeah, that's it. All right, so we're going to need two of those. And they are going to go in the furthest corners
Mm-hmm.
towards you. Yep, it looks like that. Yep, with the edge, nope, with the weird empty part going forward. Yep.
Oh, forward. Like this way
So
or
turn it 90 degrees. Yep, that's it.
on the back or the front?
On the closest to you.
Here?
Yep. And so there's going to be on the opposite side that is going to mirror that.
Mm-hmm.
And then directly behind it, we are going to put two 1x2 white bricks.
Okay, let me find this.
Yep.
Great. And
And
then
those will go right behind those two bricks.
got it.
All right. And now we are going to try to find two 1x2 white slopes. So they look like little cheese wedges. I think you got them. And those are going to go right on the inside of the where we just put bricks. Yep. And so the slope
Like
will be
this?
facing you.
Okay.
Yep. Perfect.
Got it.
All right. And now we are going to find two more of those, the weird bricks with the like slots in them.
Mm-hmm.
And they are going to go on the same row of studs as the first one,
Mm-hmm.
right in between. Yep, you got it. And that will look mirrored. And there's going to be a third one that goes right in the middle. So there's going to be these two little gaps that we are going to fill eventually.
Okay, let me see if I can find the last one. Here it is. So that goes in the middle.
Right in the middle. Yep. And then behind those, we are going to try to fill it with yeah, looking good. So getting a little pattern in there is the intent. So right behind um the modified bricks, you're gonna backfill it with three 1x2 bricks. So essentially, just like we did with that first funky modified brick.
Okay. So and there's gonna be a gap, right?
Yep,
Like
and you're gonna fill that with a 1x1 eventually.
okay, so I have
But yes,
one,
there is a gap at the front. You're totally right. Yep,
okay, two, and
there's a
then
special little part for that, which I really, it's one of my favorite parts.
okay.
So
I love
yeah,
that you have a favorite Lego part. Okay.
yeah. Of this build.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So okay, so in those two, you see the two little gaps right in the middle, facing like as close to you as possible. You're gonna find these tiny little Lego minifigure statues.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. There are little
Yeah,
statues. Wait. This
yeah.
is so cute. Wait a minute.
Yeah, see, so you can see what I mean, right? Like they're just funny.
Oh,
And so I had to use them, right?
no.
Because like if you're making if you're making an imperial gate, then you might as well have some statues. So
Okay.
those are gonna go smack in the middle, where the gaps are, right?
Okay. Okay, I can see why these are some of your favorites. This is great. I've never
Yeah.
seen these before.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they're little trophies for the minifigures to hold. But you can get them in whatever color. So then, the intent is, looking like columns.
Yeah. Here, I'll try
So
and show everyone in chat. That's
yeah.
fantastic.
Okay, so next up is we are going to find some arcs. So they are going to be 1x3 white arcs. So they just have like a little arc. Yep, that's it. And so those are going to go over the heads of the statues.
Okay.
So sort of in the middle and build out. Yep, that's it.
That's amazing how they like perfectly fit in that space.
Yeah. And then directly behind those, we are going to put two 1x3 bricks in white.
Here's one. Here's the other one. Okay, got it.
All right, now we are going to look for a 1x4, two 1x4 slopes. So they look
Uh,
like really long cheese slopes.
musicologist says, my 4-year-old guessed you're making a Lego hospital and told me to tell you that. I love that guess. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, that is fantastic.
Okay, I'm gonna find some little cheeses. And the Geach says, yeah, agreed with Jen Jen. The brick separators are amazing. I didn't know those existed. So my mind is, I learned something new. Okay, I think these are the little
Yeah,
cheese wedges. White
those
cheddar.
are, yeah, white cheddar. Yeah, white cheddar. And so those are going to go on the end, and we're going to start finishing the roof.
Great. Musicologist, does your 4-year-old play with Legos? Hopefully this gets her inspired. There we go.
All right, we're going to look for two more,
Mm-hmm.
and they are going to sort of just continue to march up the and sort
Oh.
of, it's not round us out, but it's angle us out.
Okay, with cheese.
Yep.
Come on. There we go. Got it.
Fantastic. Okay, so now we have our columns
Mm-hmm.
and we have our arc. We are going to find two 1x1 tiles. So the difference between a tile and a plate is a tile won't have the little pokey stud on it. So it is a
Okay.
very flat piece, which makes it extra hard to separate as well.
Okay, I found my 2 tiles.
Okay. And so they are going to go on the farthest out studs. One, nope, not on top. On
Oh,
the base plate. So
on the
if you
base.
just yep, so oh nope, and then two backwards.
Okay. 2 backwards here.
Yep. And then one on the other side.
I'm so scared to get this wrong. Okay,
It'll be
so
okay.
okay, so one here. There's no going back now. I snapped it. Okay.
Yep. And then we are going to look for a 1x1 like tan tile, or I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, a tan plate.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to go in the left back corner.
Left back corner. All the way back? Like,
Yep, all the way back.
let me see. Oh no. I'm gonna ask right there before I push it down.
Yep, that's it. That's
Okay.
it. Now we are going to find a true cheese slope. So it is a 1x1 cheese slope in gray.
Okay. I'm gonna look at my gray pieces now. Is that's 1x2. I need a 1x1. Is it like there's no, is it this one? Oh,
It
dropped
is
it.
that if that's gray. Yep.
Yes.
Okay, sweet. So that is going to go in the opposite position of the tan
Mm-hmm.
one by one. So it goes tucked in that little corner.
Does it face, does a
The
cheese face?
slope,
Uh-huh.
yeah, so the cheese faces inside, so it slopes up towards the outside.
Okay. I'll just do this before I push it down. Like that?
Yep, just like that. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. Now we are going to look for some light blue plates. Um, going from the tan plate towards the cheese slope. See how confused this gets? We're going to use a 1x4 in light blue.
Got it. And Tulip says, grew up building these and never knew all the official terms. I know, ruffle donut, cheese slope, like this, you
Yep.
got to be in the know.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
so
I think that's the beautiful thing is when you build with someone, the language becomes your own, and really, like forevermore, that will be
yeah.
the Ruffle Donut. And you know that's part of the magic of building together, and it's really your own, and you'll come up with the craziest things, and it's just it really makes me smile. Um,
Okay, so I will push
so
this down.
after that one, yep, you can push it down. We're going to fill in the blank part with a 1x2 that then connects the to the cheese slope, right?
Okay.
Yep, perfect. Now we need one more 1x4,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna put that sort of smack in the middle. Um, nope, one more closer to you.
Closer to me.
Yep. So it'll sort of like, yep, that's it. Perfect. And now on the edges of that brick that you just put, we're going to put two 1x2 plates in tan.
You say 1x2?
Yep. So they should just sort of fill that little nook, those two
Okay.
nooks on the edge.
I think that I accidentally, or I don't know, this is a light tan. I'm using like the darker tan. It doesn't quite
Uh,
match.
use use a if you can find the plate so it has the little studs
Ooh,
on it.
okay. Oh, wait, yeah. So here's. Oh, I don't know if I have a second one in tan. I think I only have one.
That's okay. Then we'll continue on.
Okay, so
It won't be
here's.
the end of the world.
Yeah, I don't think I have it. I might. So before stream started, also like disclaimer, I dropped a bunch of pieces on the ground. So it's very possible this could be on the ground. I might step on it later. But here's one 1x2
There's
tan
one.
plate for
So we'll
now.
use one for now.
Okay.
That's fine. And then we're going to look for two in the same color 2x4s.
Okay. I have those
And so
here.
those are going to go, you know where those white tiles are? The ones on the edge?
Mm-hmm.
So you can put those down right. So you're sort of like filling it out this way, right?
Like this.
Yep, that's
I
it.
know. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I know the lighting is a little bit funky.
Yeah, that no, this is great.
All right, and I'll do this one. And then because I can't find the other one, what would you like me to do with?
Let's just fill it in. It's not going to be the end of the world, and we'll see what parts we have left.
Okay, so I'll do
Oh
that.
no, not
Oh,
yeah. So
oh
just fill it in the fill it in. Okay, yeah. Whichever
I guess I could
in
have.
the like, you can put it by the cheese slope, or you can pick whichever one.
Oh, I see. Oh no. Okay, let me see if I can get a. Let's see if I can. So how does a brick separator work? Like, how does it? How does it do its thing?
Tension.
Ah. Okay. Oh, I got it. I'm so proud of myself.
Excellent.
The look of like horror. No, not there.
Yeah.
Except now I have to pry these apart. Have you ever broken a nail doing Lego? Have you ever incurred any
Yes.
Lego
Yes, I
injuries?
have. But I really think it is tried and true, but nothing is worse than stepping on a Lego.
Okay, let's see if I
That
can
is always rough.
and try and use a second one to separate from the separator. I have made a mistake
So
here.
Lego is really known for its grasp and
Got it.
clasp power. Got it. Fantastic.
Okay, so this fills in the
Um,
gap, right? Like,
that fills in like by the cheese slope. Yep.
okay, cheese slope.
And you have those other two. Now we're looking for it is a uh it's a modified plate. It's a modified 2x2, but it only has one pokey sticking out of it right in the middle. Yep, and that's going to go smack in the middle.
Perfect. And then Tulip says, "Do you have a cat? Cats are notorious Lego thieves. I do not have a cat, but I have a Shiba Inu, which is the cat of the dog world.
Oh,
I've been
yeah.
told." Oh, and my only Lego injuries was a broken heart when one piece broke. Oh no.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
you feel
that
it.
is brutal. Um, okay, so we are going to add we're going to look for some, they look like little L brackets, but they are tiles. So they look like little square L's or like Tetris blocks. And they're in white.
Okay, found them. I like the
Okay,
Tetris reference.
and so they are going to essentially just look like this on the end. So they're going to be your corners, right?
Yeah, got it.
Yep.
I like this
Fantastic.
symmetry. Perfect.
Yeah, and this is adding a border to our vignette. Um, and then we are looking for a 1x4 white tile.
Okay.
And then you will add that just sort of on either side, and that will fill out um, the part for the front.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yep, looking great. Um, now we are looking for a 1x2 gray slope, and it's like a brick. It's not as small as the cheese slope.
1x2, like
Yep,
like this one.
that's it. And the slope will ramp backwards.
Okay.
And it is going to go on the left, last two studs on the left, and then rotate it around 180.
Rotate it around 180,
Yep.
like this, kind of going out.
Uh, Counterclockwise 90.
Just like to do. Okay, like this.
180 of that, and then we're good for sure. I promise.
Oh no. Okay, like
Yep,
this.
that's
Okay.
it. So, long story short, is we're making a rock right now.
Oh, okay.
uh,
Great.
and so we are looking for a gray cheese slope,
Mm-hmm.
and that is going to go right. So, like one stud back.
Is it a what size is a slope?
It is just a 1x1 little cheese slope, like you had
Oh,
in that
I
back
found it.
corner.
Got it.
Yep. And then that is going to slope up towards the rock side.
This?
Nope, it will be one stud to your right
Okay.
on the ground.
And but towards it, you said.
Yep,
So,
that's it. And that
okay.
was a lot of work for just a little tiny rock.
It's a beautiful
But
rock.
yeah, so now we get into the funky zone, okay? Um, you are going to look for like a brown squiggly tentacle.
um, I have some
And
that are
there will,
skinny and some that are thicker. Does that matter?
okay, so you're going to take one skinny one.
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember that original pokey?
Yes.
You are going to put that facing sort of like 90 degrees upwards. Um, so it will curve upwards towards you. But you're gonna have to rotate that 90 degrees, and the back part of it, where's that little like edge,
Uh-huh.
is gonna go into the pokey.
Like this.
That's it. Yep, perfect.
Ooh, okay.
Then you're gonna take two of the larger things, and
Two.
then you're
Okay.
gonna put the pokies, or yeah. Okay, so then those go into the anti-pokies, right?
Okay, going up also.
One is, so the one above the one that you just put is sort of
Mhm.
arcing down, and
Oh,
they're flexible. So, or
okay.
I'm sorry, you can rotate them. So
Yeah.
you can make them however you want. And then the other one is going to go into the other anti-pokey.
Mm-hmm. Also going down or like,
Sort of like I have it corked like 60 degrees, or like two o'clock maybe. Um, that's maybe a better way of saying, yeah, perfect. Now we're gonna look for the other small parts, and they're gonna insert into the um the empty parts that we just plugged in. Yep.
okay. Tulip says, does this mean my portal theory was correct? It could be. Yeah.
It is. Who was that? Because they are tracking very, very well. Um,
This
so
is not
whoever
what I
that was in the
expected to come
comment,
out. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, this is scary.
yes.
That's great.
So now we get to do, and it might time out very well because we're coming up on the hour mark, but we
Uh-huh.
get to reveal a minifigure.
Ooh, okay.
So the minifigures, we have to do a sort of a mashup, right? So here are the two minifigures. Feel free to open them up, and then I will tell you how to construct them and then why. And then maybe we can take some questions on what portal, if it is a portal, what might this be? And then we'll go from there.
How did you know? Oh, I guess it says in the back. I was like, how do you know what minifigure is inside? And I just saw
You
that
don't.
this one. Oh, you
It's a
don't? Oh,
it's a
okay.
blind bag. Yeah, so
Okay.
I had to hand pick them. So I hope I'm right.
Okay. Let me.
But
Oh,
I'm
there's
pretty,
a bunch of pieces that are coming out of this
yeah.
one. Okay, so
Aha. Yes. Okay,
here's
so I'm right
one,
so far.
and then here's the other one.
So that other one is from Harry Potter. And if I did my job right, then we will see who the character is.
And if you didn't, it's still okay.
Yeah. Yes, I am still right. So
Aww.
my 100% track record continues. So that's Luna Lovegood, and then we
Oh my
also
gosh.
have a gladiator.
Okay.
And so we are actually going to use the gladiator.
Uh-huh.
And so we are going to take the legs of the gladiator, put them on the torso of the gladiator, use the head of the gladiator, but not the hair.
Okay.
And is it a dual face?
There is no face on the other side.
Okay, so spin the head around.
Oh, okay. Like this? Or
Yep. Or
uh-huh.
no, I'm sorry. So you have is that the guy's torso? So I think you had the head right. We got to flip the legs around.
Oh, okay. Oh, oops. Yeah, you're right. Oh.
There we go. Perfect. And now we are going to put Luna's lion head on on the minifigure's head. And then we will
Oh.
place we will put that minifigure in the center. You can pose them however you want. But they will go on that one by one in the center.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can move their legs because they are getting attacked by something. Um,
Okay.
uh,
Just gonna show.
yeah. So we can pause here for a quiz of who on earth has a lion's mane on their head.
Okay, wait. Actually, I want to face. Ooh, this is hard because I want them to. I want to be able to. I feel like they should be facing. This.
They can face however you want, right?
I know. I'm like torn. I don't know which way I want them to face.
So I think in the hypothetical model, I had them corked at like 45 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So then you got to see them, but they were also facing their foe.
Okay, I'm gonna try and do that. Oh, my key. Is this Hercules?
It is Hercules. You got it. You got it. And so Hercules is facing what?
um,
What would have multiple, or what it's the quest, right?
is it like
So
Scylla and Charybdis? Was that Hercules or no? Am I thinking of someone else?
what has multiple heads?
The oh my gosh, it's from the Hercules movies. I have to put it's the
It's the Hydra.
That's it. Look, it starts with
Right?
an H. The
Yeah.
Hydra. Yeah.
So we've built one side of it.
Ooh.
The
Okay.
other side will be the reveal of what the interpretation of the Hydra is.
Okay.
But we're just about at the hour mark. So it's up to you if you want to continue building, or we can take a break. We can chat about it. It's really up to you.
Yeah. Well, I guess.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. I'm sure that people saw this, but this has been like this little eyeball has like just made my day. This like little eyeball piece has been like staring at me all day. So I love this.
So whoever it was in the chat, it is very much a Portal reference. And so that eyeball will belong to what is on the other side of the portal. So yeah.
I'll have my figure facing out so people can see them, and then I'll go from there. Oops. I love this. It's been a while since I thought about the labors of Hercules.
Yeah. So that, I mean, when we just started connecting after Play Make Learn,
Uh-huh.
I asked you, well, hey, what were you reading? And you gave me this sort of sci-fi but Greek mythology
Mm-hmm.
combo. And so that is what I tried to construct. So the other side will be sci-fi
Okay. Oh,
when
I
we
love
get to it.
that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm excited. So I think it's a good time to take our break. Let's say about 3 to 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll get to learn. Like, what the heck do the Legos and the humanities have in common? We've already kind of gotten to that. We talked about Greek mythology and working together and language, but we're going to dive into that in a second part of our stream.
Yeah.
So.
Fantastic.
Okay, so we'll be right back. And Tulip says sci-fi/fantasy Greek mythology is what I'm writing. Can't wait to learn more about that in the second half. All right, we're going to see you all in just a little bit. Hello, everyone. We are back from our break. I am here today with John Belash from Carnegie Mellon, and we just finished building one half of our mystery model. And again, I'm so excited. I can't wait to build the second half of this, John. Thank you again so much for designing this. Anyone who wants to, build along with us virtually or find out what the second half is, we're going to put the instruction manual on the Nevada Humanities website after our stream is over, so you can find out. Do you want to share a little bit more about what that second half is like for everyone?
Yeah. So I think the sleuths in the chat were right. So this is designed to be a series of bookends, right? So it is very much a portal where Hercules has already gone through one task and is now facing the Hydra, which will be on the other side of the portal. The spin of this is the other half is going to be sci-fi built, and so it looks like it's coming from another dimension. And that was the one of the eyeballs that Kathleen alluded to in the parts and pieces. So again, that model will be fully available in digital format, as well as with the instructions as well. So congrats to all the really observant watchers, because yeah, absolutely correct with the portal theory.
I did like the hospital guess and the laptop, the blue
Yeah,
screen of death. Those are
yeah,
those are
so
both good
good.
guesses.
Yeah, yeah.
So a question I like to ask all of my first time guests is just how did you get to where you are today? So and maybe I'll preface that by just asking, have you been interested in Lego your whole life, John? Like how did you why
Yeah.
Lego?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I'm the youngest of my family. So somehow, some way, all the Lego trickled down to me. And that really gave me a lot of different ways to express myself. So, because it is a system and because there's so many different ways to modify the parts and pieces and tell different stories. Yeah, I was really always so immersed in creating my own little worlds. And it wasn't just Lego, but Lego continues to be a really well supported system. And as we mentioned before, like the new parts and the minifigures, you can be so creative with them, that it just sort of stuck with me. And then all of a sudden, I was finding myself making stop motion animations. Using it for portfolio pieces. And I think one message that I would drill home is, if you are super passionate about something, that can follow you and it can really impact the how you live and how you work. So Lego has been that for me. Um, uh, I think it's one of the most rewarding things in my career, that when my little 3-year-old says, uh, "Are you going to work? Are you going to Legoland?" I can say, "Yeah." Um, but it's really around playful learning. This is Lego's a medium for that.
Can you tell us more? So, when I'm reading your bio, I chat about the Entertainment Technology Center and the Center for Transformational Play. Like, what was the pathway that you took to get there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I come from a family of educators, and so I'm actually incredibly proud to say that there is a Baylash in the classroom in elementary and middle, high school, and in undergrad and higher ed right now still, right?
Nice.
So my brother's down in Texas, teaches high school, sisters in Ohio teaching elementary and middle, and then I get to work in higher ed. My parents were both educators, and again, being the youngest, everyone was pursuing their degrees, and eventually you have to go through your master's. And they said, "Oh, do something different, try a different program." And so I stumbled upon the Entertainment Technology Center, which is really, a pioneering program. It's going to be celebrating 25 years this coming year, and it was focused on collaborative, team-based learning, all project-based, all the time. And that's what I was seeing success in my classroom. So I wanted to understand how it worked so I could model it for my students. And that threw me on a trajectory of really trying to leverage play and playful learning. And so flash forward, the Center for Transformational Play is relatively new, compared to the ETC, but it focuses on transformational play.
Mm.
And again, that's where I see a lot of magic happen, and where we're able to connect with the Play Included team to bring their brick by brick program here to the US.
I love that. I feel like sometimes people forget that you can have fun when you're learning.
Yeah.
It's okay to laugh and enjoy what you're doing. that it's not all, I don't know, doom and gloom and just endless assignments and no one's smiling. So I love this idea of just bringing play back. And that's actually how we both met. So I met John, last July in Wisconsin at the Play Make Learn conference at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And I won't dive into sort of like our rivalry, so to speak. But I went to this amazing, really fantastic workshop that you and some others did just on how to use Lego to like bring people together, and which introduced the work you do with project-based play and with, like Lego therapy. And I'm wondering if you can talk about sort of what that workshop was, because I think that's a big part of what you do. And then I'll ask you a question from chat after that.
Yeah, absolutely. One, a huge shout out to everyone at Play Make Learn. That is an amazing conference. If you're able to get there, it is well worth it, and there are so many great people. It was really a joy. We were part of that conference as a response to the pandemic. So we are looking at how engagement and how social and emotional well-being was really sidelined because of the pandemic. With Play Included, which is a social enterprise out of Cambridge that has support from the Lego Foundation, we are saying, hey, can your brick by brick program be modified to bolster communication skills, bring back friendships and joy using collaborative Lego as a medium? And so it's sort of exactly that, right? When you launch a brick club or start a brick club, you collaboratively build, and just like you saw in the stream, you have to start making up language together. You have to agree on social contracts of this is happening and why. And it's really designed around the pillars of playful learning, which is joyful, social, actively engaging, meaningful, and iterative, right? So there are so many times where it's like, oh no, we got to change it. But that also brings, like, that feedback loop is so tight that it's just joyful, right? Like, it might be a little, stressful to get those bricks apart, but on the other side, we're getting a chuckle out of it. And we're creating something together, right? So now there's that artifact that we can reflect on, and that's sort of the core of this work. And we believe that can then deepen sort of community spaces and open up areas for other conversations that might take us somewhere else.
I love that Lego can be used by, second language learners, by, maybe people. I think it's just great for people of all abilities that, I think there's a space for them in this world. And I just love that. And I think it wasn't you, but during that session, there was a gentleman who was talking about just, really, really shy children or people who, maybe never said a word. And by the end of, a few weeks after going to brick clubs, they were confident in like talking to other people. They were proud of what they were doing. And that was just so amazing to hear. Just the difference that Lego and working together made in these lives.
Yeah. And that's full kudos to the Play Included team who founded the program.
So in chat, Musicologist just wrote, this resonates. I think the past 5 years have involved a lot of rediscovering rest, actual self-care and fulfillment, and rediscovering joy and nurturing one's inner child in order to face the world we live in. Yeah, absolutely. So, just the mission of transformational play and playful learning, I'm absolutely, all about that. Of course, I'm biased. This is Humanities at Play. I'm all about the play, but I just think it's so important. And a question from chat. So Tulip said, does John have a webpage that might show some of his personal Lego designs? Like, do you keep track of those?
Yeah. So Lego has a platform called Lego Ideas, and so I usually catalog some of my builds from there. I can scrounge the link up, and maybe we could share it after.
Yeah, we can do that after. I remember, when you're sending me some, I assume you made all of those models, but there's like one of like a little like a green sea serpent. There's like maybe like a Nike shoe or something. So he's just amazing. Definitely.
My latest build is Falcor from the Neverending Story.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, 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 I'd love to. I just put it out. I put them out there because it's fun. But yeah, yeah, I'd be happy to share. And I'd love to see other people's creations too. That's sort of the beauty of this.
Hmm.
It really draws inspiration, um, and there's always that opportunity for like a nice parts use, or like, oh, that surprised me, and then you can use that in your builds as well.
It's fantastic. So I guess maybe I'll back up a little bit. I don't remember if we talked about it, but Project Baseplate. What can you tell us just like exactly what that is? Because I know you're a big part of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, absolutely. Play Included founded the Brick by Brick program. Project Baseplate was formed to bring the Brick by Brick program to the U.S. And also sort of act as like an innovation hub, right?
Hmm.
So Play Included has like 2 decades worth of amazing research that shows that this can work with neurodiverse youth. Post pandemic, we're saying, well, where else can it work? Because we already see these benefits in these other settings. And so Project Baseplate is really casting a wide net. We have brick clubs in undergrad, first generation classrooms. We have it in after school clubs, in school. We have it in museums, in libraries. Take your pick. We're seeing where there's like a want for this, right?
Hmm.
And that's the scary slash cool thing is it's everywhere. And so people are really resonating with this and saying, hey, play does belong in our lives. What's a really low barrier way we can get this? And then the key part, I think, is doing it together, right? So this can be caretaker child, this can be friend, this can be colleague. These are moments where we can get into like a sort of like a game state or a flow state, um, do the things, build the Lego, and then pop out of it back to our real lives, but have that moment together that we know sort of satisfies the uh like I think the deep like craving for play,
Hmm.
and then being able to express that. So that's sort of the we get to be the innovation hub, and try some really wacky things, including streaming co-building, and so many more really cool opportunities. Not all of them will work, but we want to be thorough in finding out what does work, and then making that more available to people that want to play.
I love that. Could you share some of the work that you slash your colleagues do, at the ETC or through the center, whether with Lego or,
Yeah.
outside of Lego? I know you do a lot of things that aren't just Lego.
Right. Yeah. So the Entertainment Technology Center is 100% project based. So we have the opportunity to work with uh, like places like the National Road, right? So looking at creating digital twins of buildings that were destroyed,
Mm.
trying to capture them before they're knocked down, and then preserve them in mixed reality. Another, like on the opposite end, we have a live action role playing game that was designed for the Remake Learning Network, where it's called Monsters of Appalachia. It's a fantastic multi-hour experience, but you embody the role of cryptids here from our region to celebrate the 5 C's of remake learning, which are catalyze, convene, champion, communicate, and one other one. Um, but it's all done in this cryptid convention, cryptid con, and it unfurls over the time that you play it. So from absolutely no technology to high technology, we are looking at the transformational power of play. So no medium is out of bounds, but we're not going to force a technology just because it's cool, right?
Hmm.
It really has to align with the transformational goals that we think we can deliver, and what the sponsor, the client, the colleague, what they want. So
That's great.
it's so much fun. Every week gives you something new to look into, and whether technology can actually keep up with, you know, sometimes what humans just do very well on their own.
Hmm. I think you partly answered my question when you mentioned sponsors and clients. I was going to ask, like, yeah, who do you design these games for? Or who's like using them like in the community?
Yeah, for sure. So we're really lucky that there's a couple different pathways. So our students who are graduate students at the ETC, and then the CTP has some PhD students. We also work with undergrad students. They can pitch projects. Faculty can pitch projects. We can write grants to support projects, and then also external clients can sponsor projects. So a big company could come in and say, "Hey, we need this." A third grade classroom could also say, "Hey, grad students, we need this,"
Hmm.
and we'll answer all of those, and figure out how to support that.
What are some of maybe you've already mentioned a few, but I'd be curious to know, like, what are some, like, what's the favorite projects that you've worked on over the years, or ones that you'd like to shout
Yeah,
out?
yeah. So I can't claim that I worked on them directly, but one of the wackiest ones, which I thought was really powerful, was uh, this was back in the day before the modern era of VR headsets, and the students hacked together. They Frankensteined, I think it was a HTC Vive One
Oh man.
with a depth camera, so stereoscopic 3D, pass through, and then a leap motion for hand tracking. And what they came up with, the prompt of the whole project was the classroom of the future.
Okay.
And so what they created were these augmented reality experiences where you could create chemical bonds together, and they would actually form in 3D, because one of the problems is you couldn't see the structure of a molecule in 3D.
Hmm.
You only saw like the 2D models.
Yeah.
In this, the electrons would actually orbit the way that they should, and people could piece them together in space. And what was so pleasant about it is when you're co-creating these molecules together, when it worked, all of a sudden people were like inspired to like virtually high five each other, and like give thumbs up. And so our designers, our students leaned into that and said, they never said you could high five, but when you did, all of a sudden particles would fly. And it was just rewarding those special moments. They did another one with uh, line graphs. So this is the same project, but X, Y, but you could manipulate Z. It's just really fascinating, and it was such a fun exploration, right? Like it could never go to market
Mm.
because it was such a hodgepodge of technology. But flash forward, all that technology is baked into your modern headset. So I think that's the opportunity, that being part of a university can sort of forward, and why it can be so wacky to see. But that's just one project. We run, I think, like about 22 or so per semester in spring semesters.
Wow. I love that. It just gives people a chance to use your imagination and just sort of imagine sort of like the path forward, for educating, for playing, for learning. I think that's just so
Yeah,
special to be like, I have this idea and I'm just gonna go for it and we're gonna like Frankenstein cobble it together. That is so cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, I think that's one other thing, as a I think educator adjacent still, is this is the opportunity. This is where we need to get back to. Schools and learning environments are a safe place to fail forward, right?
Mm,
Like, don't fail because you're not trying. Fail because you tried something crazy. But like, we sort of honor that. We want you to shoot for the moon, maybe stumble along the way, but you're going to try something crazy, and that's the opportunity that you get to learn. So I don't, I always fear that school can be scary when in
Mm.
all reality, it is such an opportunity to really try things, and start to get comfortable, because we're going to continue to fail. So we should learn how to fail forward.
That's great. I love that phrase, fail forward. That's fantastic. So earlier you mentioned that you have a good Lego Masters story. What is
Oh,
that?
sure, absolutely. Oh, how it pains me.
Oh
No,
no.
no, it's okay. So before Lego Masters was a show,
Uh-huh.
there was a competition that was put on, by Lego, and specifically the, Legoland in California, and so it was called the Lego Master Model Builder Search,
Okay.
and so, I. Uh, I think I was in undergrad, was able to compete and advance to the
Wow.
finals, in that, to which I did not win. Uh, but that's okay. But the, some of the fun sort of like backsplash from that is, uh, the person that did win, eventually went on to work on the sets of Lego Masters and everything like that. So, I love it. And the other thing that is, there are so many good builders, and I love to see all the creativity. So that is my minute of almost fame. So I was close to being a Lego master, but, just didn't get there. But the cool thing is, I still get to work with Lego,
Yeah.
almost every day, and that is, I think, equally, if not more, rewarding, than being a Lego master.
I think there are still many minutes, yet to come. We don't know what the
Yeah,
future holds. And I mean, I don't know, compared to me, you are definitely a Lego master. Like, I just think it's so amazing that, I'm just staring at this in front of me. I just love that you like dreamed this up and you made it happen. And it's just, yeah, this is just such an excellent model. And I can't wait to build the second half, which you
yeah.
previewed for me during the break. So, yeah, I'm curious. So you mentioned you have a 3-year-old, and I don't know. Have they been introduced? Like, do you build Lego together? Like, what do you?
Yeah, yeah. So we start with Duplo.
Uh huh.
So that is the, the larger Lego in the Lego
Mm-hmm.
system. So we start with Duplo, but, yeah, he has a tendency to go after the Lego, which is great. And I think the thing that floors me the most is how inherent play is for youth. So they will grapple something. They will. He has a rocket ship that has. It's funny because it has. He just uses the brick separators as some of the wings, and to him it makes total sense. And he
Mm-hmm.
whooshes it around and zooms it around and starts creating all these different stories with it. And as someone who gets to study this, it is still remarkable how wonderful a child's mind is, to how it develops, how those stories spill over into the toys that they play with. It is marvelous. It is really second to none. I am constantly surprised by, um, just kids. They're amazing. It's wild. And I think we unfortunately lose that over time.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the case, but we need a constant reminder that it is okay to play. We'll find a different way that we play, but to know and name that, and not put it as a afterthought,
Mm.
I think is really critical.
Some of my earliest memories, is of playing with Lego. So it's just kind of, it's possible, like, what you're doing with him right now, like he'll remember it, and like in the years to come, like you don't
Yeah.
know what's going to stick. But yeah, I remember, building Lego. We had Lego and Connects with my older
Uh-huh.
brother.
Yeah.
And I don't remember like what we did, but we built these like houses and buildings together, and we would use I don't think I have any more of the tile pieces, but imagine it was like if this were a tile. Like I just remember I loved how like flat the tiles were, and they were like money. And then we had like
Yeah.
pieces with slots, and I loved like putting like the money like inside the slots and like paying
Yeah.
for like goods and services and just role playing. Like it was just
Yeah.
yeah, just exercising your imagination, and that's just still stuck with me to this day, even
Yeah.
though to my regret, I haven't played with Lego or built Lego as an adult in a really long time, despite the fact I think last year I went to the Lego store, and I have some unbuilt I think I have like the office kit like set
Oh,
somewhere.
yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
want to build the office and then put it in my office behind me. I think that'd be really funny. I think I
Yeah.
have a flower one, and then downstairs, I think we have Rivendell, which is yet to be built.
Oh,
And
wow.
also
Yeah.
I bought the SNES one, which I thought was so cool because you
Yeah.
can like, it like moves when you
Yeah.
like crank it. So we haven't built that yet either because we need like a space, but just amazing
Yeah.
seeing what Lego is creating.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And I think they've sort of really doubled down with their which is something, and it's just transparency too, is like hiding little Easter eggs. So like in the model that we built, there's a lot of repetition, but there's a point to get to.
Hmm.
In current generation model, like Lego models, they always tuck these really fascinating Easter eggs. And that sort of goes back into the concept of the flow state, right? If
Yeah.
we can get you into a game like sort of like rhythm, um, they're chunking these bite-sized interactions together in a really really thoughtful and clever way. It's amazing, but there's a whole world around people streaming their builds and saying, oh, I really like this part of the build, or like, this model doesn't really do it for me because it doesn't have these building components. And really what they're doing is just breaking down interest curves and engagement curves. And the cool thing is they're experiencing it, right? And then they can share it. But I really think that especially in the last couple of years, they've really upped their game in building the building experience
Mm.
is probably the right way to put it. Has really, uh, um, I think they're being really really insightful and innovative in that work.
Yeah, in chat, musicologist said I really wanted to get the NES TV one. Yeah, I'm looking
Yeah,
forward
yeah,
to.
it's super
There's just
cool.
some super
Yeah,
super cool builds. Do
it
you
is
have
tucked
do
right
you have
back
that?
there.
Okay, I
I
was gonna say,
do. Yeah, yeah,
what are
yeah,
some of
yeah.
your favorite like models that you've built or seen? Like, what are ones that just really stand out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I think I love I'm sitting and waiting for Rivendell. The Lord of the Rings is
Yeah,
one of my favorite
got to save up for
series.
it.
Yeah, yeah, right. But honestly, some of the ones that I really really love recently are the 3-in-1s.
Hmm.
So those are the kits like the parrot. I thought was really well done, and then it ends up being three other models, which is really fantastic. The I think Voltron, that's an oldie. Voltron's up here, and that is the old animated. I grew up on Voltron,
Yes.
and that is all the little separate mechs and robots are part of it. So I really love when the medium isn't stuck to being just one thing.
Hmm.
Like I always dreamed of like Transformers or whatever when I was a kid building Lego, and it was really hard. Like some of the hinges weren't the best and everything like that. But now there's our actual Transformers that actually transform, and seeing those building techniques is just it's like I don't know, it makes me so happy. That's all. And then as we talked about those like early parts, now that they're molding new things to say, well, we need this ball joint to be
Hmm.
able to hold more weight. How do we do that? Just seeing that process and understanding what they go through is really inspiring. I will bring down Voltron because
Okay.
it really is one of my favorites.
That sounds
Um,
great. Yeah. While you're bringing down
yeah,
Voltron, and okay, I'll wait for you to come back.
yeah,
I just,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So here is
oh my
Voltron.
gosh.
Um,
Wow. That
yeah,
is Much
Yeah.
bigger than I thought.
And then each of the little lions can come off. So it does actually transform into the individual
Wow.
lions. So yeah, super cool. Super cool.
I feel like you have other like hidden treasures. Welcome in, Cypher. Yeah. Good, great,
Yeah,
great,
yeah,
great timing. What else do you have up there? Or is it just
yeah,
Voltron?
yeah. A lot of well, I mean, so the other thing is we have a lot of uh when I build digital, now I can actually, when I source the parts, then I can build some of my own, right? So I really do like sort of creating our own stuff, but like little cameo is like just a little pixelated Dr. Mario, right?
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
so I use this for a stop motion movie in when I was in grad school. And yeah, I mean, it's just sort of there's a bunch of little kids tucked away. I think one that I'm super proud of, and I actually don't have one here, is the little Scotty dog. So I made a little kit of CMU's mascot, and it's just 26 pieces, but that's I don't know, that's extra special for me.
Yeah, that's very sweet. And so in chat, the Cypher just joined our stream and they ask, build digital. There's digital Lego. Yeah, so what you missed is I'll show you so in the first part of our stream, John sent me a bunch of pieces. You can't see them. There's like still pieces in front of me. And I had no idea what they were going to be. So I built one half while he guided me. And this is the first half. So it's supposed to be Hercules. And the Hydra, yeah, eventually I'll have Hercules facing the inside. And then the other half, when I build it, will be like a sci-fi. It's going to be the Hydra, like looking, like coming in from the other side. So John has the model available. So after the stream, we're going to put the instruction manual on our website on nevadahumanities.org, and anyone who wants can build along digitally using that link in the chat. So, and if you download, it's free. It's free to create an account. It's free to use. You can, make whatever. There's just all the pieces are in there. You can build digital Lego. So absolutely.
And there is no chance to step on them. Uh,
Yes.
so added bonus there.
Yes. As we saw, I dropped some pieces on the ground right before chat, and there's a good chance one of them might still be on the ground because it was missing from the model. So I'll look for it afterwards. But yeah. I was going to ask you a question. I got totally sidetracked. I got so excited by seeing all the very, very cool models that you were building. Thank you for sharing, John.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one question that I like to ask all of my first time guests is, and there is no right or wrong answer. I just love, hearing what people have to say is, what do the humanities mean to you?
Yeah, I mean that's a wonderful question. For me, I think the humanities is really sort of like the best library you've ever been to.
Aw.
All right. Now let me unpack that a little bit. Um, in the best library that you've ever been to, I would assume, or at least this is my vision of that, is there are really amazing stories of the past, like some that you can't even think that they're real, right? But they are. So that is fascinating. But at the same time, you're sharing space with people, and they each have their own stories that they're bringing. They're each there for a reason. They have that curiosity with them, and sort of the hope and vision of like what comes next, right? And that's exactly right, because there's the opportunity of the stories that aren't written yet. What is to come? Who is going to step up? Who's going to document that? And what does that even look like? Because again, we can't imagine what that is until we actually live it. But this is the opportunity. These are the humanities. This is the lived experience. And I think so. I guess maybe another way to put it is like this is an ever branching narrative that it can't end. And I was super lucky to visit what I think is my favorite library ever.
Okay.
And it was a place in Aarhus, Denmark. So it's called Dock One, and this structure had playgrounds. It had like classes for older people. It had video games. It had all these amazing, wacky things. It had civil services baked into it. It had a self-parking garage, and you're like, how is this place real? But then how does the community interact and engage with it, which is what really threw me for a loop. So everyone was welcome. Everyone was there exploring and trying something new. And it was all happening all at once. And that was really the magic of it. Um, it just sort of blew my mind and really set me back for a minute of like, this can happen in real time and people are doing it, right? But then the question is, how do we take that very physical thing that cannot exist outside of our house and bring it into our house, right? Into our
Yeah.
community, and into our learning environments? Because again, that for me, that is what the humanities
Mm.
are distilled. Um, so that's it. I mean, humans are amazing creatures, and we do some wacky, wacky things. But the way to celebrate that and make sure that what we do actually positively impacts, those we care about, those around us, and who we want to support. That's where I think the humanities are so critical and important.
Thank you for sharing that. And I want to look up this library after our stream now because that just sounds wonderful.
Stunning.
The one in Denmark, not your imaginary
Yeah,
one, because
yeah,
that
yeah,
also sounds great. But
yeah. Yeah,
um,
just stunning.
yeah, I is Denmark the home of Legos? Who created Legos? I
Yeah,
forget. Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
yep.
yeah.
Go figure. Yeah, yeah,
I appreciate the library references because yeah, I love libraries. They're definitely friends of the humanities and
yeah.
champions of our work, and we support them in kind. And I yeah, I love that. If you could, I don't know if you could create like a Lego metaphor for the humanities, what that would look like. I don't want to put you on a
Oh,
spot necessarily, but I'm
yeah,
just thinking.
yeah,
It's what we did on
yeah,
stream today.
yeah.
Um, okay, so another question I like to ask all of our first time guests is I know you're coming to us from Pennsylvania. So if you're in Nevada, I'd ask this question of, Nevada. If you're in Arkansas, I'd say, ask this of Arkansas. But in Pennsylvania, what are your top 3 things to do or to
Sure.
eat? And I don't have to be touristy. And it's just a way for us to, better know like your neighborhood and your community. If we ever visit, now we have some ideas. So I always like asking this question just to get a little peek into like what, you're
Yeah,
excited about and learn more about where you're from.
absolutely. So I will get the controversial one out of the way.
Okay.
So in that regards, food. Here in Pittsburgh, everyone seems to want to own pierogies. So if you're familiar with the wonderful little noodle stuffed with cheese and potato, everyone has their own way to do it. But I have yet to find a pierogi that tops our own family recipe.
Okay.
So I am always jaded. I always try, but can't find one yet. Whereas other people in Pittsburgh will swear it's this place or that place or anything. But that is the Pittsburgh pierogi scandal. Um, and so, for reference, if anyone does, no sour cream, all butter, boiled, and that is it. No onion.
Okay.
Just keep it simple. Um, with that out of the way, some of the what I really love to do is play frisbee golf. There are so many wonderful courses in and around Pittsburgh, and it is a great way to get outside, get some stretches in, get some, never hit a hole in one, but like have a lot of fun and really activate some of the parks that are just literally waiting there for you.
Hmm.
And if the course is designed well, it is a great experience. and you can see the thoughtfulness behind how they activate what's in nature, and then have you play through it, right? Um, so yeah, and then I think for number three is Pittsburgh is home to the Remake Learning Network.
Okay.
That is a learning ecosystem that is well, I think coming up on 15 years. But there is something called Remake Learning Days in the spring, and there are, whew, I think, several hundred, if not more, family-friendly activities that focus on learning. And so everywhere, all over the city and all over the region, have all these different activities. All the schools, museums are open, and you can just sort of bop around and celebrate learning. And that has been truly remarkable. And I think that like, hey, here I am, remake learning. It's time to remake learning. But it really is remarkable work, and to champion um, learning with the family in mind. It is just a great. It is a great couple weeks in Pittsburgh, and even around the country now.
I love that. I've only been to Pittsburgh a couple times. I had an ex whose family was from Lancaster, and his sister
Oh,
went
okay.
to, I think,
Yeah.
University of Pittsburgh. So I remember the Cathedral of Learning. But I don't know if I ever went to Carnegie
Yeah.
Mellon proper, but
Yeah.
I'd love to
Yeah.
go back.
The cathedral is beautiful too.
Yes.
The Cathedral of Learning. They are, yeah, that is a very, very commanding building.
Yeah.
CMU's tower is a little smaller, but it's still great. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
In chat, Zar said, "Ooh, I found some amazing pierogies in New York City. Do tell more." And then they also ask, "I've played disc golf, but mostly when I was living in Washington, D.C. Have you ever been to some of the courses in Maryland, John?"
I have been to so many courses. I've never been to any in Maryland. I think one of the wackiest ones was down in Corpus Christi. It was just beautiful. There's like a one of the baskets was just like literally in a crystal clear water puddle. And then there are so many in Colorado are really, really
Hmm.
stunning. I've played over Texas. Kentucky has a really good one. Played up in New York, and I've played up in Toronto, but never Maryland.
Well,
I would
I
love
think,
to. I mean,
yeah,
it's like
next time you
they're
go.
stunning. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's more and more popping up.
Hmm.
So I would really encourage everyone. Usually it's free. Um, and usually you can find a frisbee just on the ground somewhere if you look hard enough. Someone will be mad, but at least you're putting it to good use.
Yeah. I Okay, Zara said, asking since my favorite course is in Columbia State Park. I think it has 27 holes.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, I haven't looked at the. I would love to know the name of it because I'm always on the hunt. When people say they have a favorite course,
Hmm.
then I usually bookmark it, and try to make it. Our my home course is in Ashtabula, Ohio. So that is Lakeshore Park, and then in Pittsburgh, Shenley Park is one of my favorites if anyone gets to play. Um, yeah, and I think I even built on my. We'll tie this all together on my
Yeah.
Lego page. I have a little model of a disc golfer.
I was going to ask. Yeah,
So
there has
and a
you have to
basket and
have one
chain.
somewhere.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah.
So as we come to the end of our stream together, and time definitely flew by. If you have any other last questions for John, please don't be shy about putting them in the chat. But John, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us in the meantime? Like any fun upcoming projects that you're allowed to tell us about, or things that you're looking forward to in the near
Yeah.
future?
Yeah, so this is a mouthful, but we will be creating some Lego Fortnite islands,
Oh my gosh.
specifically with playful learning in mind. So hopefully we'll be deploying those in summer, but our teams are working on that. And then, I mean, honestly, I'd just like to thank you for this opportunity. It was so fun. And I really want to thank everyone that joined us, and just say keep on building. And if you are curious about brick clubs and project base plate, and how can you find out more, is like just reach out, and then and again, finally, thank you, Kathleen. This is it's such a cool opportunity. Thank you for the work that you do, as well as the Nevada Humanities, and everything that it's been an amazing, what coming up to what, half a year or so, from Play Make Learn. It is really, yeah, it's just great. So I can't thank you enough. And I hope you enjoy the build too.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. Yeah, thank you. I know time flies. It's been like half a year. So just so everyone knows, I always like people to, we do have a survey. So if you'd like to check it out, let me type it in. I don't know if it's going to go in the chat. Did it go in the chat? If you go to this link, which I will update, I think to say 2025 in the near future, it's just helpful to hear people's thoughts about, like, did you love John? Do you want him to come back? Do you want us to build more Lego? Do you want another thing in the future? Let us know. And it's just helpful for helping us move forward as we plan this program. So I'd love to hear your thoughts from the survey. You can find many of our past streams on YouTube. So I think eventually, this video will be up on YouTube after it's off of Twitch. So that way, if you missed a name, or if you just want to, listen to us and while you're working, you just want some Lego talk, you can listen to us on YouTube while you're at work or at home or doing whatever. But otherwise, yeah, we have a list of upcoming events on our website, nevadahumanities.org. We always encourage people to follow us on social media, sign up for our newsletter, especially if you're in Nevada and want to find out what's coming up near you. But yeah, John, I really appreciate our conversation. I'll tell everyone here now, but yeah, John and I met because we were rivals. We were playing this meta game at the conference where everyone had these letters, Scrabble letters in the back of their name tag, and you could organically form teams and then compete to just get the most points on the board. And we were on opposing teams, and it was just great fun. I think that was the highlight. It was one of the best conferences I've ever been to, not just because of the content, but because they had all these other activities. And I'm sad I had to leave early, so I think I missed the very end when they were awarding it. But I met someone at that conference, and I turned him to the dark side when he was like, well, I was planning on going to the panel, but now he's like, I'm never competitive, but now I am. And now I really want to win. And he was he got really into filling out the Scrabble letters. So I'm glad I converted someone.
That is the power of play, right?
Yeah.
That is it to a T.
Yeah. So I hope, anyone who watches this, I hope you just sort of walk away after today just thinking, not just about Lego, but just also about, learning. Learning can be playful, but it can also be serious and important at the same time. It just has the power to change people's lives. You don't realize it until after the fact, but it really is transformative. So yeah, thank you again so much, John. And really quickly, the name of the course is Seneca Creek State Park. That is the course, I think, with the 27 holes. So there you go. Yeah. But yeah, be in touch. Don't be a stranger. If you have questions for John, I'm sure you can find him online. Send him an email if you have any questions. But otherwise, we hope to see you next time. We'll be back streaming on Humanities at Play next Thursday, February 20th at 6 p.m. Pacific. It'll be my first solo stream. I'll be playing the educational game Prisoner in My Homeland in commemoration of the 83rd anniversary of the Day of Remembrance and Japanese American incarceration in the U.S. So check us out then if you're around. But have a great rest of your day, John, and everyone else, and hope to see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.